We are discussing source code repository tools. All are getting my screen and voice. Please confirm. Please confirm. All are getting my screen and voice. So what we are discussing, guys? We are discussing source code repository tools. As a source code repository tool, which tool we are discussing? GitHub we are discussing. GitHub, we are going to discuss it here. We are discussing already. We started. Right, in GitHub, what we discussed. So now you guys know what is source code repository tool, why we will use that source code repository tool, what is the advantage of that source code repository tool. Right, we need to create the account. How to create the account in GitHub? All are created account in GitHub, guys. Please confirm all are created account in GitHub. Fine. So now here in today's session, in last session we discussed. In last session we discussed what is a centralized version control, version repository. What is centralized version controlling and distributed version controlling. We discussed in last session. Right, guys. So now in our system we are installing one client software. What we are installing, guys? If you want upload any files from our local system to GitHub repository, right? If you want upload any project or files from our system to GitHub repository, right? We are installing one software in our mission. What is that? We are installing Git. We are installing Git, guys. We are installing Git. Already we have seen how to install Git also. By using this Git, we are uploading the files from our local system to, right, GitHub repository. Is it correct, guys? Is it correct? Is it correct or not? Please confirm. Guys, observe carefully what we are doing. What we are doing, observe carefully, guys. See here, I have one remote repository, which is GitHub. I have one remote repository, which is GitHub. Now I want to upload some files into that remote repository. For that, what we need to do? Observe carefully. Here, this is my remote repository GitHub. GitHub, guys. Now inside this GitHub, I want to upload some code. Where that code is available in my system, code is available. Right. How you will upload? Right. This GitHub is available in which location? In cloud. In cloud, this GitHub is available. GitHub is available in cloud, guys. Now to upload the code from your system to this cloud repository, what we need to do? Right, in our system, we need to install one software which is called Git. We need to install one software which is called Git, guys. Right, through this Git, we can upload the files, we can upload the project into this GitHub repository. Right, already we installed Git in our system. Right, so how to use that Git, we will see. Git is divided. Git uses 3 sections, guys. In our local mission, Git uses 3 sections. What? Not one section, guys. Git uses 3 sections in our local mission. What 3 sections Git uses? What 3 sections Git uses, guys? Observe carefully. Observe carefully what 3 sections Git uses. This is very, very important, guys. Observe carefully. So in our session, in our system, Git uses three sections. One is, this is one section. This is second section. So this is the third section. So what is this first section? This first section, we will call it as workspace. First section, we will call it as workspace. Workspace or working directory. Workspace or working directory. So what about second section, guys? Second section is staging area. Second section, we will call it as staging area. What is staging area? I will explain. Give me some time. Second one is staging area. Staging area. What is the staging area? I will tell. Right. Third one is local repository. Third one is local repository. Local repository. So Git uses these three sections, guys. Git uses these three sections. Right. Already in last session we discussed. In each and every system, one local repository is available. First, developer needs to upload the code into this local repository. From there, it will go to remote repository. GitHub is the remote repository. This GitHub is the remote repository. Directly you can't able to upload the code into this remote repository, guys. Directly we can't able to upload the code into this remote repository. Observe carefully, guys. Remote repository is available. Right. This is Git using these three sections, guys. Working directory. Working directory means where developers are writing the code, that is called as working directory. Right, where developers are writing the code, that is called as working directory or workspace. Here in last session we have created some project. We have created some project, guys, where we have created the project, that folder. Right, first we have created the folder. Inside the folder we have created the project. Wherever we have created the project, that folder we will call it as working directory or workspace. Inside this working directory or workspace, what we have, code is available. Source code is available. Source code is available, which is written by the developers. Whatever the developers are writing, that code is present in this workspace, working directory. Right. So now tell me, can you able to send this code directly to the remote repository? No, we can't able to send. Inside this source code, inside this working directory, whatever the source code is present, you can't able to send directly to this remote repository. Now tell me, can you able to send this code? Can you able to send this code from this working directory to local repository? No, you can't able to send. You can't able to send this code to local repository directly, and you can't able to send the code directly to this remote repository also. Then what we need to do? First, you need to send this code to staging area. Staging area is nothing but what? Staging area is nothing but one buffer, guys. One buffer zone. It is kind of memory, guys, a temporary memory. It is kind of buffer zone. Right. First, before sending the code into this local repository, you need to send it to the staging area. Right. Here, you can verify. You can verify whatever the files are present at here, all those files are ready to commit or not. Right. So sometimes by mistake, if you send any file to here you can verify, oh, I don't want to send, I don't want to commit this file. I don't want to send this file to local repository. Then you can send back that file to here. It's simple, guys. Before sending this code to repository, in between we are using some buffer zone. First the code will go to that buffer zone. In buffer zone we can verify once again. Before committing the files, before sending the files to local repository, you can verify once again in this buffer zone. If all the files are correct, right, which you want to send all these files to local repository, then you can send it from here. If you don't want, you can send back to this working directory. So that's why we are maintaining one buffer zone. Before sending the code to local repository, first you need to send the code to this staging area. From this staging area, you can send it to local repository. From this local repository, you can send the code to remote repository. Understood, guys? Git uses these three sections. What three sections, guys? Working directory Git using, and staging area, and local repository. Right? See, guys, whatever the files are present in this working directory, those files we will call it as untracked files. The files which are present in working directory, those files we will call it as untracked files. Once you send these files to staging area, then we will call it as staged files. Right? Files are available in this staging area means these files are ready to upload into local repository. These files are ready to commit in this local repository. Right? If you have the files in this working directory, all these files are not ready to upload into local repository. Whatever the files are available in this staging area, you can send all these files to local repository at a time. Right? The files which are ready to upload into the local repository, that area we will call it as staging area. The area where we have the files which are ready to upload into the local repository, that area we will call it as staging area. Right? So here the first whatever the files you are creating, those files we will call it as untracked files. Those files are not tracked, means those files are not ready to commit. Guys. Right? Whatever the files you send it to this staging area, those files we will call it as tracked files or staged files. Means those files you can send it to local repository. Understood, guys? So this is what local repository, staging area, working directory. Observe carefully, guys. Observe carefully this diagram. Right? Git uses these three sections. One is working directory. Second one is staging area. Third one is local repository. Right? Working directory means what? Where developers will create the code, that is called as working directory. From there, you can't able to send the code directly to the local repository or remote repository. First, you need to send the files to staging area. Staging area is nothing but what? One buffer zone where we can verify are we sending the correct files to local repository or not. In buffer zone, we can verify are we sending the correct files, the right files to a local repository or not. We can verify in this buffer zone. Right? Suppose some unnecessary files are came to the staging area, you can send those files back to working directory from staging area. Right? Whatever the files, correct files are there, we can commit all those files at a time to local repository. Is it clear, guys? Right? Whatever the files are present in this local repository, you can move those files to this remote repository. We can move those files to remote repository. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Please respond, guys. Observe this diagram and confirm once. Right? Where we have this Git, guys, Git is available in our system only. Remote repository, GitHub is available in cloud. GitHub is not available in our local system. We need to send the code from our local system to remote repository. For that, we are using Git. Git uses three sections. What three sections? Working directory, staging area, local repository. First, you need to send the files from working directory to staging area. From staging area to local repository. Local repository, it will go to remote repository. Understood, guys? Is it clear? Right. Whatever the files you created in the working directory, those files we will call it as untracked files. Untracked files means those files are not yet ready to commit. Commit means uploading the files into local repository. right? Whatever the files you created in the working directory, those files we will call it as untracked files. Whatever the files are available in staging area, those files we will call it as tracked files or staged files, right? So whatever the code is available in this local repository, we will call it as committed files. Committed files. Committed files. Okay, guys, is this diagram is clear? Now let me add some points regarding this. Git uses below three sections. Below three sections in our local mission. In our local mission. What three sections, guys? One is working directory or workspace. Second one is staging area. Third one is a local repository. Working directory or workspace, staging area, and local repository. Guys, what is working directory? Tell me. What is working directory? Working directory is the folder. It is just a folder, guys. Is the folder where the developers will create the code. Where the developers will create the code. So the files created in this folder, are initially called as untracked files. Untracked files are initially called as untracked files. Working directory is the folder where the developers will create the code. The files which are created in this folder are initially called as untracked files. The files which are created in this folder, right, are initially called as untracked files. Right. So what about staging area? Staging area is the intermediate buffer zone. Staging area is the intermediate buffer zone, right? Intermediate buffer zone into which files move from the working directory. Otherwise we will write intermediate buffer zone, where we will move the files from working directory. Right? These files are called as staged files. These files are called as staged files. Staging area is the intermediate buffer zone where we will move the files from working directory. So these files are called as staged files. Right. So next one is local repository. What is this local repository? local repository is where version controlling. See guys, once you upload the code from this staging area to this local repository, here only version controlling is happening. Yesterday session I explained, in each and every mission one local repository is available. In that local repository, version controlling is happening. Version controlling means, what are the main three aspects? Integrating multiple developers code as a single project, right? Maintaining preserving older versions and latest versions, and third one is monitoring. Everything is happening in this local repository. Once you upload the code from local repository to remote repository, here also version controlling is happening at entire project level. So this is single developer level, guys. This everything is the developer level, individual developer level. And here entire team level or entire project level. See guys, local repository is where version controlling happens, and all the files from staging area, all the files from staging area move into local repository. Staging area to local repository. These files are called as committed files. These files are called as committed files. Guys, please read this. Please read these statements once. Please read all these statements once. Please read all these statements. All these points are clear, guys. Git uses these three sections: working directory, staging area, local repository. In all the missions we are installing Git. That Git using these three sections. Local repository, where version controlling is happening at individual developer level. This local repository is what, guys? Where version controlling is happening at individual developer level. Remote repository, version controlling is happening entire project level. Clear? All these points are clear? Guys, please confirm all these points are clear. Can I go ahead? Very good. Good. See guys, so we installed Git. Right? When you install Git in your system, you will get one application. When you install Git in your system, you will get one application which is called as Git Bash. You will get one application which is called as Git Bash. This is what you will get, guys. When you install Git in your system, you will get this Git Bash application. You will get this Git Bash application. Right? By using this Git Bash application, we are going to perform all the activities. Right? So we will use this Git Bash to execute all Git commands. To execute all the Git commands, we need one application which is Git Bash. How you will get this Git Bash, guys? When you install Git in your system, you will get this Git Bash also. Here only I am going to execute all the commands. Most of the Linux commands can be executed in Git Bash also, guys. Most of the Linux commands we can execute in git bash also. Right? See guys, now I'm going to check PWD. PWD stands for what? Present working directory. Currently, I am in C drive. Inside C drive, users folder is there. Inside that users folder, 91953 folder is there. Currently, I am in inside this 91953 folder. Currently, I am in inside 91953 folder. And PWD stands for what? Present working directory. PWD stands for present working directory. It is a Linux command. It tells you what is the current working directory. Their control is present. What PWD will tells guys? It will tells you what is the current working directory, right, where control is present. Okay guys. Right guys. Here we need to configure username and email guys. Before starting our work, before starting our commands, before uploading the code into that remote repository, here we need to configure user details. How you will configure user details in Git guys? For that we have some commands. We need to use those commands. What is the commands we need to use? Git config global user dot name space. Here we need to give the details Raju, right? Same we need to configure email also. How you will configure email? Just here user dot email we need to give, here email ID we need to give guys. Email ID we need to give it here. Email ID we need to give it here. I'm giving so like this. I'm giving it here. That's it guys. So with these details you need to configure. With these details we are configuring in Git guys. Right, before starting our work, what we need to do? We need to configure username and email address in the Git. Right, how you will configure? Git config -- global username, git config -- global user dot email. By using these commands, we will configure the user details in the Git. First, what we are doing? Configuring user details. Guys. First we need to configure your email and name in git bash with git commands. Configure your email and name with git bash. In git bash guys. In git bash. Configure email and name in git bash with commands. How you will configure? What commands we need to use? These are the commands which we need to use. This is the first activity which you guys need to do. Copy. Right here name we are configuring and here email we are configuring. Name and email we are configuring. Right, these two things we need to configure. Here I'm giving name, some name. Here you guys need to give email. You guys need to give. Right guys, we have configured this information at here. Right, so now I want to see my configuration details. For that, which command we need to use? Git config global list. Whatever the details you configured, if you want to see those details, this is the command which we need to use. Git config global. Globally we are configuring. That's why I have given global. Globally I am configuring these details. Let's see here. You can able to see all the list of details guys. See guys, username Raju I have configured, and email mail to raj@gmail.com I have configured. See guys, to see the list of default configurations, to see the list of configurations, we need to use this command. To see the list of configurations, what is the command we need to use? This is the command which we need to use. Right guys, fine guys. So now what I am going to do, observe carefully guys, what I am going to do, observe carefully at here. So now what I want to do is, see, here I have opened this git bash, right? Here I have opened on git bash. Now I am going to create one folder inside this location. Currently we are in 95953. If you want to create one directory, I want to create working directory, right? First I want to create working directory. How you will create the working directory? This is the command mkdir, make directory, mkdir. Here I am going to give develop directory, develop folder I am creating. Right now here I have created the folder, but currently I am inside 9591953 only. Then what I want to do, I want to go inside this folder. Currently we are in which location? PWD. See, currently we are in 91953, but I want to go inside this develop folder. Where this develop folder is available? Inside this 91953, we have created develop folder. Now I want to go inside that folder. How you will go? cd develop. Right, see guys, now we are inside a develop folder. Now check PWD once. PWD. See what it is giving? C drive users folder 91953 folder inside the develop folder. Currently we are inside develop folder. Okay, so now here what we need to do? I need to initialize the git on this develop folder. This is normal folder. Develop is a normal folder. It is not a git folder. It is not a git folder. It is a normal folder. If you want initialize the git for this folder, we need to run one command. Which command we need to run? This is the command git init. See guys, before that I will run one command, git status. What it is telling? Not a git repository. What it is telling? Arey babu, whatever the folder you are in, that folder is not a git repository. That folder is a not git repository. If you want to tell this one is a git repository, compulsory this folder should have .git file. This folder should have .git. It is telling guys. What it is telling? Right, it is not a git repository. If you want to tell this folder is a git repository, compulsory this folder should have .git file. Then only you can able to tell develop folder is a git repository. Right, here I am trying to execute one command. What command I am trying to execute? Status command. See, if you want to run one Java program, you should have some configurations. If you have that configurations, see, yesterday we have set up Java home, Java path, Maven home, Maven path, all those things we did. If you want to run one Java program, we require some configurations. If you have that configurations, then only you can able to run the Java program. Same way, here also, if you want to run any git commands, some configurations must be required. If you have those configurations, then only you can able to run your git commands. Where those configurations are available? Inside this .git folder. Inside this .git folder, the required configuration is available to run the git commands. Understood guys? What we have inside .git? Right, we have required configurations to run the git commands inside .git folder. That's why first we need to initialize that folder as a Git repository. Then only you will get a .git folder inside that develop folder. Understood, guys? Understood? Whenever you initialize a Git repository, then only you will get staging area, local repository, everything. Otherwise, you won't get all those things. How you will initialize Git repository here? By using this command git init. Right, init in the sense initializing. We are initializing the Git in this folder. We are initializing the Git in this folder. See guys, see, inside a develop folder, .git is created. See here, master came by default. This is the master branch. This master is a branch, guys. What is branching? All those things we will discuss. Guys. Just remember, initially we will get master branch. Whenever you initialize the folder as a Git repository, first what you will get? You will get the master branch. Understood, guys, up to here? Why we need to initialize? Is it clear? To run any Git commands, some configurations must be required. Where that configurations are present? Inside this .git folder, that configuration is present. Inside this .git, that configuration is present. How you will get this .git? When you will initialize the Git repository, then only you will get this .git. To initialize the Git repository, we are executing this git init command. Git init command we are executing. By default, you will get one master branch. Up to here clear? Up to here clear? Let me add this point. At here. First step, what we are doing? We are initializing working directory as a Git repository. For that, what we are going to execute? See, to initialize working directory as a Git repository. Right, we need to run this command. Git init command we need to run. Right, so what this command will do? This command will create. See guys, let me go to that location first. Inside C drive, users is there. Inside users, 91953 is available. Inside this, I have created develop folder. Where is .git folder? Where is .git? Tell me guys, where is .git? You guys can able to see .git here? No, where is the .git? What happened? Not internal. That .git is a hidden folder. Hidden folders we can't able to see. It is created, guys. Internal. Yeah, correct. You mean like that? Okay, fine. Right, it is created, guys. But .git is a hidden folder. Hidden folders we can't able to see. Understood, guys? .git is a hidden folder. That's why we can't able to see it here. So now let me add one point at here regarding the .git. The command will create a hidden folder. It will create a hidden folder called as .git. Where it will store all the configurations related to Git, guys. Related to Git, whatever the configurations are available, all those configurations are stored inside this hidden folder. The command will create a hidden folder called as .git, where it will store all the configurations related to Git. Okay. Fine. So now what I am going to do, right, in this location, I am going to create some files. I am going to create some files. How you will create the file? By using touch command. Touch f1.txt. f1.txt I am creating. Touch f1.txt I am creating it here. One more file I will create. Touch f2.txt. f2.txt. One more file. Touch f3.txt. And in this folder, in this develop folder, I have created 3 files. Already I told this develop folder is a working directory. Whatever the files you are creating inside the working directory, those files we will call it as untracked files. Whatever the files we are creating inside the working directory, those files we will call it as untracked files. Now let me go to this folder. Those untracked files are available or not? F1, F2, F3. F1, F2, F3. All 3 files are created. Here whatever the files we have created by using touch command, those files are available in this develop folder. By using touch command, we can create empty files. By using touch command, we can create empty files. F1, F2, F3, these 3 are the empty files which we created. Fine guys, in develop folder, we have untracked files. Now what I want to do, I want to send all these untracked files to staging area. Before commit these files, we need to send all these files to staging area. Right. So now I want to check the status of the Git guys. I want to check the status of the Git. Which command we need to use? Git status. Git status. This command will tell which files are in untracked state, which files are in staging area. All that information this command will give. What status command will give? It will give the information about the files. Right, the files right still are in untracked stage only or staged area. Which files are ready to commit? All that information this status command will give. See guys, see, right, whatever the files we are creating in the working directory, those files we will call it as untracked files. What untracked files we have? f1.txt, f2.txt, f3.txt. These 3 files we will call it as untracked files. Right, see here, no commits yet. No commits yet guys. There is no files to commit yet. Right, when you will get the files to commit, whenever you will send these files to staging area first, then we can say these files are ready to commit. But still we are not send it to staging area. Still the files are in untracked area only. Understood guys? Now what I want to do? Only one file I want to send it to staging area. f1.txt file I want to send it to staging area. How you will send? By using this command git add command. By using add command, we can send the files to staging area. Git add f1.txt. Which file you want to send to staging area? Right, f1.txt file I want to send it to staging area. To send the code to staging area, we need to use add command. Git add f1.txt. See guys, now check the status once. Git status. Git status. See, here changes to be committed. So this file is ready to commit now. This file is ready to commit now. These 2 files still in untracked stage only. Right, this is the staged file. Right, whatever the green color file it is showing, we can commit this file. This file is ready to commit. But these files are not ready to commit guys. Still these files are in working directory only. Whatever the files we have in working directory, those files we will call it as untracked files. Right, this file is in staging area. This is the staged file. Right now this file is ready to commit. This file is ready to commit. By mistake I have sent this file to staging area. I don't want to commit this file. I don't want to commit this file. What I want to do? What I want to do? By mistake I have sent this file to staging area. I don't want to commit this file. Then what we need to do? See, use this command to unstage. This file is in staged area. If you want unstage this file, use this command. Use this command guys. See, let me use that command. Git rm remove. Rm means remove. hyphen catched. Hyphen catched. Here f1.txt I am giving. f1.txt I am giving it. Remove this file. Now check the status. Get status. See guys, again all the files are came to stay untracked state. That f1 file also came back. F1 file also came back to untracked stage. Understood guys? Right. Suppose I want to send two files to staging area. How you will send? Git add f1.txt space f2.txt. Like this, you can take multiple files f1, f2, f3, f4, any number of files you can send like this with the space separator. See guys, now check the status. Git status. See guys, these two files are ready to commit. These two files are f1.txt, f2.txt, both files are ready to commit. But this f3.txt still in untracked stage only. I want to get these two files back. What is the command? Git rm hyphen catched space f1.txt space f2.txt. See, right now check the status. Git status. See, both files are came back to untracked files. Now I want to send all these files at a time. To staging area. What we need to do? Here we have three files. So git add f1.txt space f2.txt space f3.txt. Fine guys, here we have only three files. That's why you are writing like this: f1, f2, f3. Suppose if you have 1000 files, all 1000 files at a time you need to send it to staging area. Do you write f1.txt, f2.txt, f3.txt, f4.txt, f4.txt like that till 1000? We can't. That is not recommended. Approach. Then what we need to do? Simply write like this: git add space dot. Dot we need to give. Right? What this dot will represent? Dot will represent present working directory. Present working directory. Inside this present working directory, whatever the files are available, add all those files to staging area. What we are telling? Dot will represent present working directory. Inside this present working directory, whatever the files are available, move all those files to staging area. We are telling. Now see guys. Now check status. Git status. See, all the files are moved to staging area. We don't have any red color files. We don't have anything in untracked stage. All the files are moved to staging area. All these files are ready to commit. Understood? Now I want to commit all these files. When you do commit, where the files will go? The files will go from staging area to local repository. Observe carefully guys. Up to now what we did? We sent all the files from this location to this location. To send like this, which commands we are using? Guys? Observe carefully. Here we are using git add file name we are using, right? See, if you want to send all the files at a time, git add space dot we are using, right? With these commands we can send the files from untracked stage working directory to staging area. Suppose if you want to send files back from staging area to source code, then which command we need to run? See, this is one. So now back. I want to get back guys. For this, which command we need to use? Guys, observe carefully. This is very important. Commands are very important. Right. See here, let me take these commands. Here if you want to do this one, so we need to use these commands. to get back, we need to use these commands. Which commands? Git, right? Git, right? First rm hyphen catched file name. File name we need to use. Otherwise, one more command also is there. Git reset. Git reset file name. This one also we can use. This one also we can use. Git reset we can use. Git rm also we can use, guys. Right? By using these two commands, we can get the files from staging area to source code. This is the working directory back. Okay. So now from here, right, to local repository, I want to send, guys. What is the cinema? I want to send the files from staging area to local repository. For this, what we need to do? We need to do the commit operation. We need to do the commit operation. So now all these three files are ready to commit. All these three files are ready to commit. How you will commit? This is the command. Git commit. Git commit -m. -m stands for message. Commit message we need to give. Tomorrow in the companies, if developer wants to commit any code into the remote repository, they need to use the commit message. For which purpose you are doing this commit? Right? I fixed one defect. I fixed so and so defect. For that I am committing this file. Then mention that defect ID. Then mention the defect ID. Which defect you fixed? Right? So that commit message we need to give it here. Here I am giving some commit message. Right? Like first commit. First commit, anything you can give based on your requirement. You can give the corresponding commit message. See, guys, all these three files are committed. All these three files are committed. Now check git status, guys. Git status. Where is the files? Now there is no files in staging area. All these three files are moved to local repository. Now all these three files are moved to local repository. We don't have those files in our working directory or in our staging area. Understood, guys? All these files are came to this local repository. For this, which command we are using? This is the command which we are using. This is the command which we are using at here. Git commit -m. Here we need to give one message. Message we need to give it here. Message we need to give it here. Okay, guys. Right, by using this command, we can send the file from staging area to local repository. In this local repository, version controlling is happening at individual developer level. Individual developer level version controlling is happening. Now, guys, let me check one thing. I want to see the logs. Commit history I want to choose. Tomorrow, if any developer don't know how to see the commit history, they will ask to developer DevOps guys only. I want to see the commit history. How I can see? By using this command git log. Right? Git log command will give the commit history. Till now, whatever the commits you did, till now, whatever the code you sent it to local repository, that history it will give, guys. See guys, commit. This is the commit ID. Whenever you did commit operation, every time one unique commit ID will be generated. This is the commit ID. Where you did the commit? In master branch, you did the commit. Head is pointing to that one. Whatever the commit you did, head is pointing to that one, means that is the latest one. Right? We will discuss what is head, right? Why it is pointing like that, we will discuss slowly. See, guys, here you can see all the details. Who commit the code, man? Already I told, right? Version controlling will monitor everything. Who did the commit? At what time he did? What commit? Right? Message and everything. See, this is monitoring everything. Right? Raju is the person who did this commit. When he did that commit, Friday, September 2nd, 9:40:53, he did this commit. What commit he did? Based on the commit message, we can tell. Right? All this information it will display. Right? To get the history, we are using which command? Log command. Understood? I don't want this much big log, big history. Small message is enough. Small history is enough. For that, git log hyphen one line. I don't want multiple lines. In single line, I want to get the commit history. Then give git log hyphen one line. See guys, you will get in one line only. You will get in one line only. Here, first 7 digits of the commit ID you will get. See, 5D09B66. First 7 digits of the commit ID you are getting, and it is pointing to master branch you are getting, and whatever the commit you did, first commit you did, only short you are getting guys. In one line, short message you are getting like this. Understood guys? Is it clear? Up to now what we discussed, is it clear? Let me add these points also here. Then you guys can practice easily. Git init is clear. So next, to send the file from working directory to staging area. What command we are using? $git add file name. Suppose if you want to send multiple files, then git add file name 1, file 1 space, file 2 space, file 3, like this you can give. If you want to send all the files at a time, this is the command git add space dot. This is the commands we need to use to send the files from working directory to staging area. And here, let me add this point also. To send multiple files to staging area, right? So next here, to send all the files which are present in working directory. This is the command which we need to use. Guys. Understood? Now, if you want, right here, what dot will represent? Note. This dot will represent present working directory. Right. Suppose if you want to remove the files from staging area, to remove the files from staging area to staging area and bring them back to working directory. Which command we need to use? $git rm hyphen cached file name, right? or $git remove, right? Sorry, reset file name we need to use, right? Next, to send the files from staging area to local repository. Which command we need to use? Dollar, right? Git. Here we need to use commit. Git commit -m some message. Commit message we need to provide. At here. Right now, to see the status of untracked files and staged files, to see the status of untracked files and staged files, we need to use this command. Which command? Git status. With this command, we can able to tell which files are in untracked area, which files are in staged area. Right. So once you commit the files, I want to see the logs. To see the list of commits. commits. So to see the list of commits that are done in local repository, that are done in local repository. Which command we need to use? Right, simple. This is the command, git log command. I don't want to see multiple lines. I want to see that log history in single line. Right, then which command we need to use to see the commit history in single line. Right, what command we need to use? $git log hyphen one line. Understood, guys? Is it clear? Simple or difficult, guys? Tell me. See, if you guys see this diagram, and all the commands we practiced or not? Yesterday's session we discussed in each and every system, local repository is available, right? And the developer is creating the code in this working directory. First, developer needs to send the code to this local repository. And how they will send? First, he need to send the files to staging area by using this command. Next, he need to send the code from staging area to local repository by using this command. After that, we will send it to remote repository. How to send the code to remote repository, we will discuss. First, try to understand up to this part. Then we will understand how to send the code to remote repository. Is it okay? All these commands are clear? Good, guys. Guys, please confirm these notes. Here, whatever I am writing, you guys can able to understand these words and notes, everything easily? Understandable or not? Good. Please practice this, guys. Right, we will continue in tomorrow's session. Remaining things we will continue in tomorrow's session. Guys, one more thing I want to tell. Guys, if you guys face any issues while practicing, please put it in group, guys. Don't send individually. Why I am asking to put in group, right? Suppose tomorrow maybe some other person also will face same kind of issue. If you put it in group, right? If I give the reply for that, right, tomorrow it will helpful to other people also. Right, today, right, is it correct or not? You guys only tell me, is it correct or not? Why we are using that group, guys? For communication purpose. Whatever the issues you are facing, please put in that group. It will helpful to others also. Right, same issue, three people, right, individually they sent. Right, some people are setting Java home, guys. Right, today one more guy sent a third person today. Separately you guys are sending. See, while setting the Java home in environment variables, don't set like this. People are using underscore, no, hyphen. Don't use hyphen. Here we need to use underscore. Java underscore home, not Java hyphen home. People are giving this hyphen. Don't give this hyphen. If you give this hyphen, right, so it can't able to identify the JDK path. Guys. We need to give underscore. Don't give the hyphen. From tomorrow onwards, if you guys have any issue, whether it is small issue or big issue, whatever it, please put it in group. It will helpful to other people also. Okay? Okay, guys?
Sir, actually, I'm facing one big issue. I'm trying to install Maven dependency, and every time it is saying security certificate is not allowed something.
Yeah, please, I don't know why. Please put screenshot, guys. I will check and get back to you.
All right.
Whatever the issue you are facing, take one screenshot and put it in group. I will reply for that. I will check and reply for that.
All
okay?
Right, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Fine, guys. I'm stopping here. We will continue tomorrow. Remaining comments we will discuss tomorrow session. So many things we need to discuss, guys. Merging, how to merge one branch with another branch. Right? So many things. Cloning, commit, all these things we need to discuss. We will practice all those commands. Commands are very, very important, guys. Okay. Thank you, guys. We will continue tomorrow. Good night, guys. I will share these notes and all. Please practice. Thank you. Good night, all of you. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Night.